Hello everyone, this is Fluffles from the Tahiti Discord, and today I have a video for you on the Underworld team. So a couple of weeks back, the collaborators on the Tahiti Discord released an infographic for this team, and today's video is going to address a correction that we are making to the infographic. Now most of the information on the infographic was correct. I'll show you the new infographic here. The key difference is in the team positioning. Now, shout out goes to Destromonger, who assisted Dorky Dad in his video about the Underworld team way back in September when Mr. Negative got released. And Destromonger helped to point out the mechanics of how the game works with reading passives on a team. So there's a specific order that the game will read passives in, and Taskmaster's passive adds turn meter based on the number of Underworld allies that are on the board. So by default, with all 5 characters on the board, it would be 500 speed bar from Taskmaster's passive. But if Mr. Negative and Kingpin's passives get looked at first on spawn, they each respectively put a minion on the board, and those count towards Taskmaster's passive. So if those minions are on the board, then Taskmaster will actually give up to 700 speed bar on spawn. So the team positioning here is very important based on that mechanic. Some notes on the infographic real quick, just as a brief explanation. So the collaborators have slightly different teams than the information that's been compiled here, but this is our collective suggestion for how to build the team. I personally have the top 13 T4s invested here. My Taskmaster is not Gear 16, he's Gear 15, but I did promote him to 7 red. I think he's a character worthy of a high investment. My Green Goblin is a Raider, not a Striker. Striker I think is probably better, but Raider gets the job done just fine as well. My Nobu is actually not even Gear Tier 14. I have him at Gear Tier 13. He's really just there to give you the T4 ultimate. He adds some very low value beyond that, but there's not a big reason to promote Nobu too high. I do want to explain the ISO behind Kingpin real quick. If we look at MSFGG, you'll see this line right here at the end of this character's turn. If this character has Barrier, apply Speed Up and Offense Up to all summoned allies. This includes the hand minions that you can spawn from Nobu. This includes the inner demons that come from Mr. Negative, and this includes the bodyguards for Kingpin. And we know that the Fortifier ISO does give some barrier, so odds are if you have him as Fortifier, you have that barrier, and you can take advantage of his passive here. So just wanted to highlight that. So now let's take a look in the game. So here is what I mean about team positioning. So when the game starts a battle, it looks at the left side first, and it triggers the passives of the characters one by one. So the order that it looks at for that one by one is the order that you place the characters on the team. So you have to be very careful about this. It's easiest if you just have them in a save squad and just load it in every time and make sure that it works. You can see I have my save squad right here, right, and the team is set just like this. But just to illustrate, we see that we have the plus sign here to add a character in. This is the order that the game is going to respect, the order that you punch them in here. So if I do Kingpin first, it's going to look at his passive first, Green Goblin second, Mr. Negative third, Nobu fourth, Taskmaster fifth. So the important thing is that you place Taskmaster last. Don't mess around and do stuff like this, because now the game might be looking at Kingpin first, Nobu second, Taskmaster third, fourth, fifth, like this. The game can get wonky with stuff like that when you mess around with the placements midway. So it's best if you either clear it out and place it one by one, or ideally if you just get it right and load in from your save squad every time. So I've got the team placed. The primary usage of this team is against Darkhold. You might not have noticed this speed bar mechanic that we've talked about here, the 500 versus 700. If you've been facing Darkholds where they have Scarlet Witch as the 5th, or where they have Red Guardian as the 5th, 500 speed bar from Taskmaster's passive is actually plenty to make the team function properly. The nuance here is when you have a character like Emma Frost or America Chavez has become very popular. with America Chavez in particular, the speed bar that she adds can cover the difference between having your Taskmaster in the right position and having him not in the right position. Um, so what we want to make sure happens is that Taskmaster puts blind up, that Nobu gets his ultimate up to get counters on everyone, and that happens prior to Morgan Le Fay doing her ultimate, because we want her to do her ultimate with blind into a board full of minions with counterattacks so that those counterattacks delete her. So let's go ahead and start a fight and illustrate the point here. I'll slow it down so that we can see the order of the passives. It still goes kind of fast even at 1x speed, but we'll try and see it here. So we see the bodyguard comes down. We saw Green Goblin did his passive. We see the plus 700s there. So the bodyguard came down. Green Goblin did his cauterize. Mr. Negative did his minion, and then we saw the 700 speed bar go out. Now, the way I play this match is I target Doctor Strange Heartless. I'm going to take it back up to 3x for this. And I open with the special on him. He's then going to target Wong and hit him. It doesn't really matter if he gets resisted or not. And now Taskmaster takes his turn next. Taskmaster will put a taunt on Morgan Le Fay. He puts his taunt on the character with the highest damage. There is a niche scenario where this can go on Wong, so you have to watch out for that. 9 times out of 10, this is going on Morgan Le Fay, but if you face an opponent that has, let's say, a 6 red star, 4 green or blue ISO 4 skirmisher Morgan, and a 7 red star, blue ISO 4 striker Wong, Wong will have more damage and will take this taunt instead of Morgan. If that happens, Morgan will ult before Nobu can put his counterattacks up. You can still win the fight. When Morgan does her special, she'll still be at full health, so it'll be somewhat meaningless, and you'll still have a board full of minions that will counterattack into her. But you cannot punch up the crazy amounts that you can punch up with this team if they have that niche scenario where Wong is the highest damage character. Now in this case, in most cases, Morgan is going to be the highest damage, so you simply do the ult with Taskmaster. It's going to put the blind on her. We're going to hit her with the Mr. Negative minion. This is why it makes a difference which one gets the taunt, because this minion will actually take 99 speed bar away from Morgan, which makes the difference here. There's a bit of a debate about what to do with Kingpin, but from my observation, you do more damage if you do his special to open and get more minions on the board. You see we're already deleting Morgan here. And then the most important move on this team, funny enough, is the ultimate from Nobu, putting these counterattacks up so that when Morgan takes her turn, she's blinded, she hits everybody, but she misses everybody because of the blind, and everyone's going to counterattack into her and delete her. And the rest of the match is easy from here. I like to target Wong next, but it really doesn't matter. We're still going to just delete through everyone. But I find Wong to be quite annoying. And you can basically just put it on auto from here. It's easy mode. So the most important part of the match is being able to delete that Morgan there, and like I said, with this America Chavez variant, you need to pay attention to the way that you have your team set up to make sure that you gain the right amount of speed so that you properly win the match. So big shout out again to Destromonger for pointing this out and for directing me to his video that he did with Dorky Dad. It has helped us to create this updated infographic with that information in mind. So I will leave you with that. Thank you everyone for taking the time to watch this video. Please join us on the Tahiti Discord. There's a bunch of players in there from all alliances. It's not Tahiti exclusive. We're actually one of the largest MSF communities with top end players. We talk about all the game modes. There's always people in there when there's a new Scourge out or when there's a tower, chatting about the best strats and best way to get through those and do well in these events. So if you're interested, please join us on our Discord, and thanks for watching.